Hello and welcome back to Bookmark Chronicles. Today I'm going to talk about the worst books that I read in 2020. Unfortunately for me, I have 9 books on this list, which I kind of feel like is a lot, and it's more than I have on my best books of 2020, so that's not great. The first 4 books on this list I'm not going to go into a lot of detail for because I did mention all of these in my video where I read 5-star reviews of books that I rated lowly. So those are The Afterlife of Holly Chase, The Call, Cracked Up to Be, and The Missing Sister. If you want more detail in all of those books, I will be sure to link that previous video in the cards and in the description below. The next 5 books on this list were all rated between 1 and 2 stars for various reasons. The first being The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes by Suzanne Collins. I reread The Hunger Games this year specifically to get to this book, and I do have a full review on it. And it just really wasn't what I expected. I thought that we were going to see President Snow as he rose to president. I didn't learn anything about him that we didn't already know. I was hoping that we were going to see all of the things that Finnick talked about in Mockingjay, about him poisoning people and forcing the tributes to do unspeakable things. But no, it was just him as an 18-year-old. There's a bullshit love story that doesn't make any sense, and it was a waste of time. It was completely pointless. The next book on this list is Truly Devious by Maureen Johnson. This is the first book in the Truly Devious, what was supposed to be a trilogy, but apparently now has 4 books. I don't really know what's going on. This was the most boring murder mystery that I've ever read. I do have a full review of this as well. Unfortunately for me, the concept was really cool because the student that we're following, she's at this new school that's for basically like childhood geniuses. And she's trying to solve the murder that happened there. I think it happened in like the 60s or something, so it was way before her time, but it was just so fucking boring even though the plot was so interesting. And then a murder happens, and right after that they throw in a fucking romance. Y'all know how I feel about that, so 2 stars for me. The next book is Once More Upon a Time by Roshani Chokshi. This was an Audible original about a king and queen who live in this place called Love's Keep, and they were once madly in love. However, the queen gets sick and a witch offers to help her, but in order to do so, the king has to give up their love for each other. So after a year and a day where they no longer love each other, they lose their kingdom, so they're getting kicked out of the palace, and somehow they end up on this quest, and there's like a talking badger and cannibals, and none of it makes sense. Also, every time the scene changes, there is this really annoying music that plays, and it happened way too many times. I talked about this more in my September wrap-up, so if you're interested in hearing about it, although I do not recommend it, I only gave it 1 star. Next is Maybe Now by Colleen Hoover. This is the sequel to her book Maybe Someday, which is about a girl who walks in on her boyfriend and best friend sleeping together, and then a bunch of drama ensues from there. Basically what I've learned is that I do not enjoy Colleen Hoover as an author. I did a drunk book review of this book where I drank a bottle of rosé because it was the only way that I could get through it. I gave that book 1 star. I do not recommend, but if you're a fan of Colleen Hoover, maybe it's for you. If you enjoyed Maybe Someday, I, however, did not. The last book on this list that I mentioned in my November wrap-up was You Were There Too by Colleen Oakley. This book had a lot of potential because the plot is about this woman who has been having these recurring dreams about this man for years, since she was a teenager, and she's now in her 30s. She finally comes face to face with this man in person, and she's trying to figure out why she's been having these dreams about him and what it could possibly mean. That sounds interesting, right? No, the plot was terrible. There is a plot twist that happens, but it was kind of predictable, and I mean, I guess it's sort of a happy for now ending, but I really dislike the main character, and if I don't like the character, I have a hard time getting into the story, so I also rated that 2 stars. If you have read any of these books, let me know, and let me know what some of your worst books of 2020 are. Otherwise, that's all I have for you today, and I'll see you in the next video.